Hello from the city of Minneapolis. Today we'll be taking a look at Southwest Airlines on board their Boeing 737-800. I sure am looking forward to this, so let's head to the airport. Welcome to the Minneapolis Terminal 1 Lindbergh. I'm actually going to be taking the light rail to the second one, also known as the Humphrey Terminal. I'll be flying southwest out of there to Denver. Okay, here we are at Terminal 2 Humphrey. I'm gonna check in and go through security. The Humphrey Terminal is nothing special, and nowhere near as big as Terminal 1. It is comprised of a single concourse, gates H1 to H14. An upside to it is that it doesn't get too busy often, at least not during the fall and winter seasons. I mean, I haven't flown through it a lot, but it seems easy enough to get through, and definitely one of the most simply laid out. The most inexperienced travelers could definitely find their way around it. Never been a fan of USA airport design, but this one isn't bad at all. I love the artworks here at the check-in area. Over here in the concourse, there are a few decent duty-free stores and cafes that can get you through a layover here, but not that many. The Lindbergh Terminal probably has a lot more. So yeah, Humphrey Terminal is okay, but nothing too great. However, it still holds a special place in my heart because this is where I filmed my first flight report. And I mean my very first one. Only true OG viewers on my channel will remember it. Yes, it was Condor Flight 2011 from Minneapolis to Frankfurt. I removed the review a long time ago because it was terrible quality, but if you remember it, this is the terminal where that flight took off. This gate here, H6 to be specific. This gate is currently empty, but I remember leaving Minneapolis out of this gate on board that old Condor Boeing 767. The Condor route from here is seasonal, only operating in summer, but when it is, the Condor Boeing 767 is quite a unique sight, especially since this terminal rarely ever gets international flights like that. As you'll see in the shots I have here, this terminal is dominated by the Minneapolis-based ultra-low-cost carrier Sun Country Airlines. The first plane you'll see when entering this concourse will probably be a Sun Country one. Never flown with them, but their tickets are usually cheaper than Southwest's. They operate a fleet consisting only of 737NGs like these. And if you're not flying Sun Country out of here, you're probably on a different low-cost carrier like Southwest, talking about myself right now, Frontier or Allegiant. Or you might be on that JetBlue flight you'll see here occasionally. There aren't necessarily any legacy carriers that'll park at this terminal. Yeah, I don't know if Icelandair is considered a legacy carrier, and they will fly from here on flights to Reykjavik, but like, no Delta would ever set foot, or should I say, set gear at these gates. If you're flying or connecting here in Minneapolis on an international trip, you're probably not going to need to see this terminal. There's a chance you'll spot other airlines taxiing to the Lindbergh Terminal like this Delta A330 from who knows where. One thing to note is that at this time, there was a bad snowstorm in Denver. It was supposed to stop by the time I arrived, but unfortunately, my aircraft happened to be scheduled to fly from Denver to get here. I got scared for a second when I read the departures board and saw the word cancelled beside a flight to Denver. But that was not actually my flight. That was the other Southwest flight to Denver that was scheduled to leave later. My flight WN259 got delayed 40 minutes. But at that point, all I was thinking to myself was, thank goodness I'm not booked on flight 1108. I did get some breakfast from this one coffee shop at the airport, which I had planned to do anyway. Figured since I was going to be here for a while that I'd explore the terminal. This section here at the end is actually a new extension, and you can tell by how different it is from the rest of it. This is where my gate is, along with the others starting at H11. It's got a nice piece of artwork above the restrooms, and it's also got a Christmas tree, and yes, this flight was taken in December. Here's H12. This will be my gate for today. It's currently empty, and I talked to the gate agents, and yes, they confirmed that the delay was caused by the previous storm in Denver. I actually took a look at the airport map on Flight Radar 24, and oh boy, you could tell that it was utter chaos there. Clearly my aircraft wasn't the only one held back by the storm. Poor air traffic controllers. I realized that we'd probably get delayed again. I was right, and the scheduled departure time got moved back another 40 minutes. At least that means more time here, so I managed to spot a few planes like this Southwest 737 in the Triple Crown livery, headed for Chicago Midway. Oh yeah, I got some peach tea as well. I don't know why, but I always get this when I'm traveling. I found a few more Sun Country aircraft when I went to the other end of the terminal, and there was actually some sort of Make-A-Wish event at gates H1 and H2. I don't know if it was being hosted by Sun Country or the airport itself, but it looked pretty nice. H3 was still in use, and parked there was an interesting sight. This is a Sun Country 737-800 in their old paint scheme, but the main thing I noticed was that it doesn't have winglets. Didn't think there were any 800s left in the United States without winglets, but I guess I was wrong. Once I had taken a look at everything this terminal has to offer, I headed back to gate H6 for the time being, specifically because according to the departures board, there were no flights scheduled to park here in the next hour or two, which meant that the waiting area there was 100% empty, so I had it all to myself. I checked my aircraft on Flight Radar 24 a few times. It was standing beside 4 other Southwest flights waiting to be de-iced. That took a while, but eventually the plane left Denver. I also looked up this Sun Country aircraft on Flight Radar, but it wasn't scheduled to go anywhere. I don't know if they're planning to put it under maintenance or if they just didn't have a need for it at the moment, but it had arrived here at 4 p.m. the day before and never left. After a while, I decided to get some lunch at Subway, and that was about the same time my Boeing 737 finally arrived from Denver.
If you have a pre-board, you are welcome to board at this time. Pre-boards in the boarding area business, select A1 through 15, followed by A16 through 30. You guys are welcome to board at this time. Also, just a friendly reminder, you're only entitled to 2 carry-on.
Once you do find your seat, if you'll step out of that center aisle, now those. You can help us out by placing those smaller items back out or handles out. Do not place them sideways.
It's okay. You know, there's very few flights in the other visitors, so I'm so happy to be on those flights. And I did miss. No, thank you for your help. Oh, for your meeting. But yeah, look at the transportation this week during LA, okay? However you find destination.
back to the aircraft. Come on back.
Thanks so much for your patience on the delay. We were delayed. We just came from Denver. We were like number 20 getting de-iced, so that took a while. We had a nice little snowstorm this morning in Denver. So hopefully we'll have passed by the time we get there. You do have 4 wonderful flight attendants taking care of y'all today? Yep.
Okay, so I just realized that like half this video is about the airport. Whatever. Scoreboard time. I was genuinely impressed by Southwest Airlines today. The main problem I ran into during this flight was the delay, which wasn't even the airline's fault, so I won't be hard on them for that. Pretty much everything else exceeded my expectations for a low-cost carrier, especially the legroom. This was no doubt one of the most comfortable flights I've taken. Sure, the seats are a bit slim, but the legroom makes up for that. And at least they have headrests. According to Seat Guru, the seat pitch can be from 32 to 33 inches on the Southwest 737-800 and MAX. I have yet to see a US or even a European carrier top that for short haul and economy. And no, I was not sitting in an exit row. That actually was one of the standard seats. And then there was the wonderful cabin crew, who I could tell were very happy to be there. They made the experience a lot more enjoyable, and their snack and drink service exceeds that of many legacy carriers nowadays. There's a complimentary drink choice for one, and they actually give you the choices on a card at every seat, which is a first. And the snack mix is a lot better than the simple bag of pretzels offered on American Airlines. Really sucks that the personal device entertainment wasn't working, but I'm glad there was a flight map I could access through their Wi-Fi, and the free messaging worked fine for me, so I think it's fair that I give the amenities a 10 out of 10. Brings us to the final score, which is 8.3 out of 10. Southwest did exceed my expectations in many ways, and is probably one of the best low-cost carriers, at least in the United States. Well, I think they're a low-cost carrier, because according to Wikipedia they are, and I've seen a lot of their ticket prices. They'll usually get cheaper than, let's say, United, Delta, or even an American Airlines option. If Southwest is really a low-cost airline, it's one we could actually, well, love. I mean, their logo is a heart, so I guess it makes sense.
If you happen to be up for some reason, fasten your seatbelts. We'll be at the gate here in just a few more moments.
Do you have anyone else happy to? Alright, C1 through 30, welcome aboard.